Happy Friday, everyone. In this video, I want to talk about two trades I took today, trading options inside Team Bull. And I want to talk about one trade I did miss out on. And I want to talk about why I didn't enter this. This particular trade was my own data trading strategy I created to trade on mornings that we have data drops. But before we get started, be sure you're subscribed to my channel. Click that thumbs up button and click that bell icon so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. Now let's talk about this data trading strategy. I've talked about it before, but let's go through it really quickly. This 5-minute candle is where data come out, right? So I like to see a nice move either down or up, right? In this case, we push down. And what I like to see, I like this to, kind of hang around this area until open. Then once market opens, which was on this candle here, I like to see a push down right to pre-market lows. And we just didn't get that push down. I was looking for it to grab call options down here. As you can see, we never looked back. That's okay. The only reason I didn't enter calls here was because, if we pushed on down and something happened, this trade didn't work out, I would have been more in the red than I would have liked. I try to keep my risk management pretty tight. Now let's talk about another trade. Some people lost on this trade. Some people made money. I did call this out inside Team Bull. Full transparency, my first ad was at this 413 and I added more puts at 413.5. Okay, now if I had this to do over, I would have waited closer to this 414.23, which was another key area I did point out pre-market because that's where we was when that data dropped. Just had a feeling there's a lot of orders left unfilled up there, right? A lot of people left behind holding the bag, so to speak. And a lot of times that's what happened. Even when we have data drop, it'll push back up to that, then continue on down, right? We've seen it happen before. But anyways, we got in and people talk, they asked me about risk management. Like, how do you know where your stop loss is going to be? I keep a rule of thumb that's 60 cents on the, move of the stock price or ETF price. It's a good rule of thumb, but it's not always the case. People say, you read it in a lot of books, 2-3% should be all you're willing to risk on your overall account. Where does that put your stop loss if you're only in a trade that is 2-3% of your entire account? Are you willing to risk it all? It's kind of stuff we have to think about as traders. There's not always an exact science behind it. You have to come up with your plan, whether you're trading a zone, maybe if you break above that zone, that's your stop loss. Or maybe you just keep a real tight, 10-20% stop loss. Some people trade like that. You have to, think of it like this. What's my risk to reward? A lot of people say 2-to-1 should be your minimum risk to reward. I say a lot of times 1-to-1 is what, we have to settle with. If a trade doesn't go right, we don't always get that full move that we want. It happens, right? So that being said, there's not always one right way to do something. You have to have your plan pre-market. Whatever that plan is, whatever your rationale is behind that, you have to follow that through regardless. Now, let's talk about the second trade we took. This was a winning trade, and this had 0 drawdown, okay? My entry for the puts on SPY was at 416.7. Said right in my channel, I said it over voice inside Team Bull. I added my first position at 416.4, added to it right here off this candle, and we caught this nice move down. My average on the contract was around 118, and this pushed down to close to 180 per contract if I remember right. Beautiful trade. Nice way to end the week. Exactly how I like to end the week. A lot of people caught this with me inside Team Bull and made some money. Now, that being said, if you have any questions about any of this, I know risk management can seem hard, but make it simple. Come up with your plan. Like, okay, I know where I'm getting out of this trade. Once it breaks this level, I'm out. Try to block out the noise. That's one thing I struggle with to this day. I'm calling out my trades. A lot of people are talking. I'm trying to communicate. They say something. I'm like, maybe that does play a role into my trade. You can't do that. Stick with your plan that you created pre-market, block out the noise, and focus on your trades. That being said, that's all I have. Appreciate you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.